Vivek, thank you, like always, the opportunity to interview you. It's a pleasure.
It's always good to talk to you, my friend.
We didn't get a chance to catch up after your book came out. Everybody looks forward to your new book coming out. I remember last one was a big hit, and this was Your Happiness Was Hacked. Thank you for giving me the signed copy.
Absolutely.
Lucky enough to write a small review for you, but I want to ask you, things have changed so much and it keeps constantly changing. I was talking to you early in the afternoon. You said, when you do the paperback, you're already working on revision of that book. So just wanted you to elaborate.
Well, as far as Your Happiness Was Hacked goes, the message of the book was that we've become hostage to technology. Technology has taken over our lives. We're always checking our smartphones. When we get home, we put Netflix on, and it's one after another. Everything we do now is taken over by technology. The message of the book is that you have to understand the game that's being played and master it. Because if you use technology wisely, you win. If you use it the way the companies want you to do it, you become their slave. So what the book does is to walk you through what's happening, why it's happening, how it's happening, and to enlighten you on the game that's being played by the technology industry. It's really the tech industry versus you. It walks you through that, educates you, and then it shows you what you can do to benefit from technology, to use it in a smart way. So that's what the message of Your Happiness Was Hacked is.
You take on big guys very strongly, and I think that's why you get both good and bad reviews from people. But I appreciate what you do, and there are thousands of people like me who appreciate what you do. This is what I wanted to understand from you, and this is for the benefit of the startups as well. When you start small, you're trying to change the world.
Right.
So Facebook, LinkedIn, all these companies start the same way. What happens when you grow big? Why are you on the opposing side that you actually consume?
You see, part of the problem is that when companies take venture capital or when they go public, they have big demands from their investors to produce returns. Rather than when you're a startup, you care more about doing good for the world, and you have good ideals and so on. The moment you take money, you sold your soul. The trouble is that you can't, for tech companies, after a while, you can bootstrap and you can, get to a small size quite on your own now. You don't have to raise money. But after that, you need money to go beyond that. And that's when you sold your soul. And then when you go public, you sold your soul again. So the pressure is on you to produce, results, quarterly results, money. And that's where the tech industry does what it does. It becomes obsessed with making money. Zuckerberg used to be a good human being. Okay, he had good ideals. He used to talk about bringing the world together, making it a smaller place, and so on and so on. And what did he do? He sold his soul. Then he started focusing on monetizing information, making us addicted to his technology, and then selling information to the highest bidder. So now you're reading about Facebook, the evil it's done. I mean, the fact that you have deaths happening in the camps, the Rohingya refugee camps in Myanmar. The fact that you have WhatsApp now leading to dozens of deaths in India. This is because technology has been weaponized in a destructive way. And rather than doing good, it's doing evil. Why is it doing evil? Because these companies are obsessed with making money at all costs, and they pretend that their technology can do no harm.
If I were to play the devil's advocate, they say that it's not us. We are providing the platform for people to communicate. This is a great opportunity for people to connect, and do some good things and good things for the world. People convert that into something evil.
No, but it's really what they're doing is that they weaponize their platform. I mean, Facebook has become the greatest spying device out there. It learns everything you can. Facebook is so obsessed with getting information that they're now trying to get it from the banks. In India, they're setting up new currencies, new payment techniques on WhatsApp. Also, they can get data. What do they do with data? They now understand you better than your family does, better than your spouse does, and then they sell you information about you to anyone that wants to reach you. So they know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and the advertisers are often, not always, most of them are just benevolent companies wanting to market you products, but they're also nefarious, with evil agendas. You have all of that, and Facebook will just sell you to whoever pays them money. So it's basically shirking responsibility for the problems it's created.
So there are two things then. One is, how do we take corrective measures, both individually and collectively?
Well, that's what I covered in the book. I said that here's what's going on, here's why it's happening, here's how the system is rigged against you, and here's how you can master it. Because Facebook can be a force for good. It was meant to be a force for good, and for a long time it was doing a lot of good in the world, until they went too far with it. So if we understand what the company is doing to weaponize the thing, we can still get the good from it without the bad, right? We also need regulations, and now that's being discussed all over the world. I mean, India, they're talking about GDPR plus. Europe has GDPR, and they have to have better versions of that. The United States now, it's being discussed in Capitol Hill about whatever regulations we need. So we need checks and balances from policymakers, but we also need to take personal responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure that we use technology in a smart way, that we don't become addicted to it, and that it doesn't destroy our lives.
And the second part then is, how do we try to inculcate this culture in new entrepreneurs, new startups?
Okay, that's a different discussion. Now, the question of values of startups. Most startups I know, most entrepreneurs I know really care for the world. They care for humanity. They want to do good for the world. They start off with all the right intentions. And then they realize that they need money, and as I said, they sell their souls. So we have to develop more of a bootstrapping culture. The good thing is that with technology now, you don't need the millions of dollars to create world-changing companies. You can create incredible startups without raising any money. And there are a lot of companies that have done that. There are role models for doing that. Learn from them. Figure out how to build your company by not requiring large amounts of venture capital, by requiring small amounts of money and raising it as you need to. For example, I'll give you one example of how I'm making this happen myself. This company, HealthCube, based out of New Delhi. Ramanan Lakshminarayan is their CEO. He wanted to raise venture capital a year ago. I said, Ramanan, stay away from the VCs, they're poison. So what we're doing instead is we're raising in small tranches, convertible debt note, $50,000, $100,000 at a time from key investors. And you tell them what the vision is, that this is going to bring healthcare to millions of people. And from a strategy point of view, rather than bringing it to the West, we're taking it to the poor. The poorest of the poor now have access to better diagnostics than we have here in Berkeley, because they are able to get a test done and get the results immediately on their smartphone. So the company has stuck to its guns in trying to reach millions of people. In the next year or so, it will reach millions of people. The product will be cheaper and cheaper, and along the way, zero venture capital. But we've got a who's who to invest in it because they see the potential. So, Ray Dalio, a hedge fund investor, invested in it. Ross Perot Jr. invested in it. I mean, people of that caliber invested in it. Bill Gates himself is taking this to Ghana right now. Gates, instead of taking ownership, he says, look, I'll just buy a lot of units and take them to Ghana. So we've got who's who to invest in it. After having myself and small investors putting small amounts of money, getting it to the point they can do good for the world. So the strategy is to get it to the poor and to get people who share our values in the company. And we make it clear to the investors that this is about impacting 1 billion people in a positive way. And they agree, because even the people who we consider to be evil, they're not, they may be evil when it comes to investments, but when it comes to doing good for the world, they also want to do good for the world. They also have a heart, and they have good values, and they want to uplift humanity. So you go to them and you say, look, you also have a philanthropic side. Put small amounts of money in along with all these other people, and we'll build a great company. So you have to, this same model doesn't apply everywhere else. But you have to figure out how to take your technology and achieve your purpose before you become obsessed with making money.
My last question is on geography, and we heard from Tom Friedman about 2005 is a flat world. And you have been a big proponent of flat world. You work in Chile and India. And
the world is flat. Right now, the innovation level playing field is level all across the world. I gave you the example of a startup in Delhi. Yeah. This was born in New Delhi, and they're going to build a technology that impacts the United States healthcare system, because we will soon have diagnostics available for practically nothing. And the devices will cost a few $100s, and we'll be able to have them at home. And it could disrupt America's healthcare system. Made in New Delhi technology, done with small amounts of funding. This is the same which is possible with all sorts of new technologies now, which change the world, which impact humanity in a very positive way. This is what's possible now.
All right, Vivek.
All right, my friend.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Sure.